Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election held in Nigeria on February 25, 2023, and the result announced on March 1st, 2023. And that result is being challenged at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, from where it's going to be challenged at the Supreme Court. Now, one of the things that has been thrown up in the election, which we are still talking about, is the quest by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, to extract the results of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which he claimed to have gotten from the Chicago State University. Now, an issue was thrown up in a court in Chicago, where in the defense of Bola Ahmed Tinubu on why he will not allow Atiku Abubakar to have access to his academic records. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his lawyers, they blamed the clerk of Chicago State University for invalid graduation dates, signature, logo, and other anomalies on his Chicago certificate. So we're going to look at this and see whether it makes any sense that one person alone in an institution and in a big school like Chicago State University, one person can be able to do all this damage to a certificate. One person who works in a university will have a different signature than what it should be, and then put a different logo in a university certificate than what it usually should be, and all that. And yet, that is the excuse as what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is making. So we're going to look at this issue so that we find out whether it makes any sense that one person in a big institution like a university could be held responsible for invalid entries into a result, including dates, signature, logo, and other anomalies. Now, in his defense in Chicago, at the Chicago court, United States, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu implicated a clerk of the Chicago State University as being responsible for the blatant irregularities that characterized a certificate that the school printed in his name, according to a new court filings in the United States. The Nigerian president said that the unnamed clerk unfortunately made errors as to the dates the school stated. As to the date the school stated as his on his recently issued certificate. Okay, it's different from when he actually graduated. Okay, thereby creating appearance of differences. What Tinubu is saying, or in other words, is that he is admitting that there are discrepancies in his results, but do not blame me for those discrepancies. Blame the clerk of the university. Blame the official of the university for doing that. Even though he didn't have his own courage of his own conviction to mention the official who did this. So we're going to look at it, whether it makes any sense to any reasonable member of the society, to the level that he can be Tinubu can be exonerated from what contains in his result. Now, Tinubu's statement was filed on August 23 by his counsel as part of his argument before the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois in Chicago. Now, Judge Jeffrey Gilbert had given the Nigerian politicians until August 23 to explain why his academic records. He has given Bola Ahmed Tinubu until August 23 to explain why his academic records at the Chicago State University should not be released to his political opponent, Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar, earlier this month, requested court approval to subpoena Tinubu's files, domicile with Chicago State University, because he believed that the document would clarify glaring inconsistencies in Tinubu's background, including publicly available documents that suggested the Chicago State University in the 1970s admitted a female student bearing Bola Tinubu, who was born on March 29, 1954. Okay? Now, the Nigerian president said he was born on March 29, 1952, although he had also at different times listed 1954 as his date, as his birth year in the past. Now, he recently expunged his primary and secondary school education from his records after it was discovered that the schools he listed under oath in his 1999 run for Lagos governor did not exist anywhere in Nigeria. You know, in 1999, when Tinubu was contesting for governor of Lagos State, he listed a primary school, a secondary school in Lagos that he claimed he attended. But it was later discovered allegedly that he never attended those two schools. And those two schools never existed, allegedly. And that was why, when he was filling his form for 2023 presidential election, he left primary and secondary school vacant. And if you look at newspapers within that period in 2022, they say Tinubu said that I did not attend primary and secondary school. The only thing he tendered was that is Chicago State University. That was where he failed, that he attended Chicago State University. So that made Atiku Abubakar to be curious. If you didn't attend primary and secondary school and you attended university, which secondary school did you put in there? And those are the things that Atiku Abubakar want to unravel in going to the United States to subpoena Chicago State University to make his academic records available, because it will help his case at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Now, Atiku Abubakar believed that the requested records will show which early and high papers Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted to the Chicago State University. Okay? What certificate did he give them, primary and secondary, for him to get admission at the Chicago State University? So these are the things Atiku want to find out. Now, Atiku had sued to obtain Tinubu's school records under a U.S. statute that allows documents available in the U.S. to be subpoenaed for use as evidence in a foreign court. Atiku Abubakar argued that Tinubu had presented contradictory claims in Nigeria, and the Chicago State University, in responding to a previous subpoena, had issued documents that contradicted what Mr. Tinubu had submitted or entered under the oath in Nigeria. So the certificate that Atiku Abubakar was given under subpoena from the Chicago State University was different from what Tinubu filed in Nigeria. Now, Tinubu's lawyers led by Oluwola Folabi and Christopher Carmichael argued that the August 2022 subpoena that was issued following a request by a Nigerian lawyer, Mike Enahoro Eba, was illegal because he had no valid grounds to seek the documents, especially under education privacy rights. The lawyers nevertheless admitted the documents indeed emanated from the Chicago State University, but an unnamed clerk had mistakenly typed the graduation date. So, in other words, the issue now is that it is not the fault of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu that there are discrepancies in his results. It is the fault of the clerk or an official of the university who issued the result uh, to the to the person that requested for it. Unfortunately, in responding to the illegal and invalid subpoena, Chicago State University made several errors, Mr. Tinubu's attorney said. They said that Chicago State University issued a new diploma for Bola A. Tinubu, but incorrectly wrote the date of graduation as June 27, 1979. The lawyers also uh, said that the changes in school authority signatures and logos, alongside other anomalies like that of this, like the fonts of the certificate, all contributed to generate an appearance of wrongdoing. And they went on to say that the correct date was June 22, 1979, but that Scriver's error, along with a change in the Chicago State University logo, the font of the diploma, and the leadership at Chicago State University who signed the diploma, created appearance of difference between an earlier issued diploma and the one issued in reference to the 2022 subpoena. That's what the lawyers are claiming. But Atiku Abubakar is insisting that the reason why he filed the suit is because he wanted to get the school to certify all the documents relating to Tinubu, some of which had been filed by the Nigerian president's lawyers in Nigerian courts as part of the ongoing election petition tribunal proceeding. Tinubu argued further that Atiku should not be requesting for the document because Tinubu's academic records were not part of the initial litigation over the Nigerian election. They said that the opposition leaders' argument had been focused entirely on cheating and other irregularities around the conduct of the election. Okay, so Tinubu was insisting that why is Atiku Abubakar looking for a certificate? That Atiku Abubakar should be more concerned about the conduct of the election, the irregularities in the election, and not about his certificate. But Atiku Abubakar is saying your certificate has issues. There are issues of integrity and forgery about your certificate. Let us look at it, whether you even qualified to participate in the election. Because if Atiku could establish that Tinubu submitted a forged result to the Independent National Electoral Commission, that is enough ground to disqualify Tinubu from participating in the election. And it will nullify the results he got as announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And we have a lot of precedent on that. You remember what happened in 2019 when the All Progressive Congress in Bayelsa State, the governorship candidate won the election, but the election was nullified because the deputy governor had discrepancies in his certificate. That was why the election was nullified and the votes of the APC cancelled, and the PDP emerged the winner of the governorship election. And Governor Diri, the present governor now, lost in the real election. But by that forgery that they were able to prove in the courts, APC lost the election. That is exactly what Atiku Abubakar is seeking to prove in the court. Okay, and he needed to do it in the United States court, where he can be able to subpoena the Chicago State University to release the results. But instead of allowing this to take place, instead of confidently releasing his results, as what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything possible to block the results from being released to him and creating all kinds of bottlenecks on the way. Okay, right now, the thing has gotten to the point that Atiku needed this result desperately, even if he could not present it in the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal before they give their verdict in the second week of September at most. He should be able to present it when the matter gets to the Supreme Court. So this is very important to him. But Tinubu is stonewalling, blocking him here and there, which was an indication that what is he makes people, reasonable members of the public, to ask, what is he hiding that he didn't want Nigerians and the world to see about his result in Chicago, which ordinarily every other alumni of any university will be so glad that his school releases results for the generality of the world to see. Okay, but where we are right now is that Tinubu is claiming that he is not to be blamed about the discrepancies in his results. Is that a valid defense? How could a university of the caliber of Chicago State University, one person will print the result to be issued to a student, and the person will not go to the official record and get the paper for the printing of the results of the university, to the level that the logo and everything were so different. So that's why it's difficult for reasonable members of the public to understand why a clerk should be blamed for the discrepancies in the results and the other discrepancies that are found in it. Is it that the clerk just went and manufactured a separate result sheet for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, different from whatever had been existing in the university? Because if it had been a typographical error, let us take the date of graduation. The lady entered, or the clerk entered it wrongly. What about the logo? Why should the logo be different? Why should the font be different? For a university as old, as prominent as Chicago State University, this leaves a lot of questions unanswered. But what we have to wait is to see the response of Atiku Abubakar lawyers to this defense that was given by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because everybody wants to know really what's going on about Tinubu's certificate in Chicago. And also people want to see the results, the certificate from Chicago, to be compared with what was standard at the court in Abuja as the result of Bola Ahmed Tinubu by his lawyers, because that is where Atiku is going. Atiku wants to prove that there are discrepancies, that Tinubu was not saying the truth about his certificate and all that. That's what he wants to prove, so that he could be able to use it to ensure that Tinubu is disqualified in the election, and it will invalidate all the votes that he got and the vote that all progressive Congress got in the election. So that's where we are right now. So everybody is waiting to see the defense that Atiku Abubakar and his lawyers, or the counter argument they're going to make about this claim by Tinubu that it was the clerk of the university who they did not name that was responsible for the signature differences, for the logo differences, and for everything that was different from the previous certificate of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that's where we are right now. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.